want to touch base with a couple of particular grade levels and just to expect some updates for your particular grade levels in the coming weeks.
所以也会跟大家分享一些就是各个年级自己关注的一些主要问题。
So grade 5 to 6 transition, of course, this is something we're going to be putting a lot of effort into to make sure that the students from grade 5 have a very smooth transition into the secondary school.
所以对于5年级的学生升读到我们的6年级的 MIP 项目呢，我知道有很多的老师、家长、学生都做了非常多的努力，保证我们的5年级学生进入6年级能有一个非常顺利的转换。
So we have a high number of students coming from grade 5 to grade 6, which is wonderful. So we'll be communicating a few more steps to you in the coming weeks about how we will help them transition and what you can do as parents to help them prepare.
所以我们很高兴的看到绝大多数的5年级的学生会继续在启明星完成他们的中学的学习。那么接下来这几周呢，我们会跟这些家长进行进一步的联系，就学生在接下来的时间里怎么样能够顺利的转换到中学的学习进行沟通和指导。
Grade 6 and 7 will continue their own programs, but for grade 8 to 9, the students will choose between arts, design, and music. So we will send a survey out to these students in the next week or two.
所以6、7年级的学生呢，没有什么大的变化，还是按部就班的按照我们的课程计划来进行。但是从8年级的学生升到9年级呢，他需要从下面这3个学科里选择他喜欢和想要学习的科目，就是指的视觉艺术、设计和音乐这3门课里。
Of course, we provide further information of what they can hope to learn in grades 9 and 10 for those courses before we ask them to choose.
我们也当然会给家长和学生提供关于9年级、10年级学生关于选科的那些相关的更多的信息。
Of course, grades 9 to 10, this is a big transition year for you because we're also now starting to look at career and college planning.
那么9年级到10年级，大家都知道哈，对学生的学习来讲是一个非常重大的一个升级和过渡。其中呢就涉及到一些个人项目和大学规划的问题。
While there won't be any formal changing of subjects because they keep the same subjects in grade 9, we will have to consider carefully their personal project planning, which will start soon towards the end of this semester, ready for grade 10.
虽然9年级到10年级学的这些学科呢不会有什么大的变化哈，但是作为 MIP 的最后1年，学生可能要分外关注到他的关于这个个人这个 personal project 个人项目的一些准备和完成的情况。
So we're starting with the end in mind. So we know where we want to put the students. We want to put them in the best colleges that they can get into. So that planning has also already begun, but will take place a bit more next year.
所以我们也理解，就是最后的目标，我们的家长、我们的学生都是想让孩子能够进入一个最好的学校，来继续他们的高等教育的学习。所以我们也会为此进行一个很谨慎和详备的一个准备。
And to support that, we've gone around the world. Gay and I spent a lot of time looking for the best college counselor that we could find. And so we've recruited the former assistant director of admissions at University of Chicago, which is an elite university.
那么为了上述我们讲的这个目标呢，这个Daniel校长和 K 校长在全球范围内来寻找一个能够帮助到启明星下一步大学升学指导工作的这么一个角色。我们非常高兴的找到了 Melissa 女士，她原来曾经在芝加哥大学担任这个招生的助理总监。
I'm already in close contact with Melissa and have been for a number of weeks. And so we're already putting in place the supports for next year for grades 9 and 10, but also planning them for younger grade levels too.
所以整个的进展，招聘的进展都非常顺利，我们也已经开始了彼此的沟通。那么来年的大学升学指导就要由 Melissa 老师来主导开展了。
The last two announcements, these are just very short announcements. We'll be making full plans and explanations for these in the coming weeks, and of course, rolling it out next year. But we recognize we have some really, truly exceptional students at Daystar, and we want to make sure we nurture and give those a chance to develop their passions, but with real expert support.
那么还有一个事情想跟大家这个分享一下哈，这个虽然是一个最近刚刚出来的决定，但是也就是跟大家要及时的沟通，这个事情实际上就是我们现在开始筹备，当然是从下一学期开始实施。主要是我们意识到我们启明星的中学学生里面其实是有不少非常有天分的孩子，他们在各个方面都展示出了自己的天才，我们有必要在这方面有一个项目来支持到这些孩子。
So we're developing the program. A number of key people in the school are involved, as well as Melissa, our college counselor. And this, we're trying to just identify students with talents, not just in the math, for instance, but across all subjects. So what we're looking at is a very clear criteria for us to support them.
所以我们在学校范围内的一些骨干和核心的老师，这个同仁，包括前面讲的招生，这个大学升学指导Melissa老师，我们一起来，甄别和辨识哈，我们的学生在哪些方面有他的特殊的才华。我们指的不只是数学方面哈，也包括各个学科和各个领域的才华。
Further to this, we've spent a lot of time considering how we can truly reward those students and that are exceptional. And one of the things that we'll be putting in place for next year are selective academic scholarships. So students who meet very high criteria, which we'll be sharing in due course, we will be awarding tuition fee scholarships to those students up to 100%. And this is a significant investment by the school to attract the best, brightest, and retain the best and brightest students that we have.
所以明年的这个启明星的奖学金计划呢，也会再次启动哈，也有些家长已经熟悉这个事情了。我们为了真正能够招收到这个出类拔萃的学生，这在学校来讲也是一个很大的有意义的投资。最高的奖项可以减免学生100%的学费。我们希望通过这样的举动，能够促进学生的学习，也能真正为启明星找到学术卓越的学生。
Of course, these are exceptionally important to show that they've won competitive academic awards to go to colleges. But I'm extremely proud to work for a school group who genuinely want to support these students and all students, both financially and with other resources. So it's a testament to the leadership of Daystar Academy in terms of the board as well, Ivy Education, and Jack Shue. So it's something that we're really proud of, and we'll be spending a lot of time rolling out with different grade levels in the coming year, but of course long term too.
所以对学生的支持，从爱艺集团到学校，大家都是一如既往的。不只是在学术上支持学生，对于真正有才华的学生，我们也更愿意，甚至从经济上，从各个方面、各种资源的使用上来帮助这些学生展现出他们的才华和潜力。
So I said short update. There's a very short update. I'm now going to hand over to Mr. Tolley, our MYP coordinator, who's going to speak a lot bit more about how we can help students with developing self-agencies, amongst other things. Oh, sorry, sorry, Tim, I'm really sorry. Before I introduce Tim, I just want to extend my thanks for everybody joining, but also extend an offer to any parent that wants to talk to me about any topic towards their child, whether it be next year or this year. You can either email me or Anna Wong, who will schedule a talk. And just a reminder, students need to have a passion to get into top universities. And I'll be doing an inspiration hour next week on helping parents develop passion with their child. My apologies, Tim. Thank you.
That's fine. 所以后面呢还有一个广告时间哈，我们上一次办的这个灵感1小时呢反响挺好。那么第2期呢从下周也要开始。Daniel 校长选择的题目是释放孩子的激情，希望家长们也到时候能够参加。那么再往后，更多的这些家长这个和学校互动的这些灵感1小时类型的讲座活动。如果家长觉得哪些的题目是您特别感兴趣或者希望了解的，也请这个随时可以写邮件联系我们的中学校长，大家沟通来商定以后的这个话题。那么上面呢就是丹尼校长今天晚上一个非常简短的一个信息更新哈。那么接下来的时间呢就交给我们的中学的协调员 Bill 老师，他今天主要想跟大家谈一谈怎么样帮助您的孩子能够自主的开展自我管理。
Thank you, Tim, really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay, great.
sure.
So as Daniel said, I know I've met a number of you, but if you haven't met me yet, I'm the MYP coordinator and instructional coach in the secondary school at Daystar Academy.
所以看还有没有谁不认识这个贝尔老师哈？他也先自我介绍一下。贝尔老师是我们整个中学的这个项目协调员。
And the natural transition from what Daniel was just saying and what I'm going to be talking about is that students also need self-management to be successful in college. And if you remember all the way at the beginning of this presentation, the title was How to Help Your Child, I'm paraphrasing here, become an autonomous self-manager. And we're going to talk about the life skills that are necessary for success in the 21st century at large, and then self-management in particular. And we're going to look at some examples.
所以贝尔也谈到说，对于学生从小学到中学，以至于到大学的整个状况过程中，其实比较重要的一件事情就是，大家应该了解到，进入大学以后，学生的自我管理实际上是非常影响他的整个的学术和他将来的成就。那么上一次我们也做过相类似的这种讲座哈，尤其就是关系到我们的学生怎么样发展自己的这种21世纪的学习的习惯，并且增长自己自我管理的能力，实现一个自主的这个自我管理。
And so we're going to talk first about the perceived and real need for these skills, what they are, and then we're going to start looking for the silver lining in COVID-19 and all of this remote learning time. Because ironically, our students have developed many of the necessary skills for success in college and beyond during this time. They've had the great opportunity to practice this. And then we're going to tell you how you can nurture this and facilitate their continued learning and inspire them to continue with those skills.
所以我们今天的这个讲座呢，大概有这么几部分的内容，大家可以从 PPT 上看到哈。一个呢，就是想跟大家分享一下所谓学生在学习过程中的这个在认知方面他有哪些需求，和他实际的情况上就是有什么需求，他认知到的和他实际的需求。第二个呢，我们也想就是跟大家说一说哈，这个确实是比较讽刺。虽然这一次这个新冠状病毒呢给我们造成了很多不便，但是从另外一方面来讲，恐怕在今天要讨论的这个话题上面，对于学生的学习也许是一个好处哈。当然也会谈到家长在家庭里怎么样能够帮助孩子抓住这些机会来提升自己所谓自主的进行自我管理的这些态度和能力。最后也会有一个问与这个提问和回答的一个环节。
Can we go on to the next slide?
Yes, please.
Okay, and while you're reading this quote, I'm going to say two things. Number one, there is going to be a lot of information in this presentation. We are not going to go over all of the information. We're just going to show you that it's out there, and then we're going to make this presentation available to you. The other thing I will say to warn all of you is that I'm from New York. So if I pick up speed, if I start speaking too quickly, even though there's a translation, anyone can put a comment in the chat or Tim will slow me down.
That'd be my disaster. Please slow down. 所以刚才那个 Bill 讲到，就是说他是纽约人，他说话很快的，我也求他慢一点哈。今天谈的这些话题呢，从刚才那个 quote 那个引言开始，它后面的 PPT 呢有很多的内容，非常丰富。我们前面看的时候，我有这个感觉，大家不用担心啊，后面的这些所有的 PPT 都作为资料会发给大家。
Okay, speaking to the need, I'm not sure if you realize this. We don't have any students of an age that would be taking the IB examinations this year, but for the 12th graders around the world, IB examinations have been canceled.
所以可能大家没有意识到哈，就是因为我们没有高中的学生，但是实际上今年的这个 IB 的12年级学生是算遇上惊天动地的大事，因为这一次这个病毒的事情呢，整个的这个 IB DP 阶段的考试都已经被取消了。
And in addition, the College Board, all the SAT testing has been canceled for the spring and summer season. The AP has been canceled. Daniel, I believe the IGCSEs have been canceled. Is that correct? So
yeah, the APs have got they slightly APs.
Right.
Some of them are online, but A levels, GCSEs, SATs, ACT, and IB are all 100% cancelled.
所以实际上网上整个的 DP 大考，SAT、ACT 的考试，包括 IGCSE 的考试都已经全部取消了。AP 可能还有一部分是可以在线上进行，但是整个的国际 各种考试的总的趋势是因为这次疫情都被取消了。
And so already we're seeing a situation where the need to develop these kinds of skills are incredibly important. They are becoming more important in many ways, or equally important, people debate, than the traditional methods of getting into university, standardized tests, grades, things like this. So here you can see this spectrum kind of covers what the IB calls ATLs.
所以这个情景，这种态势呢，就是对于学生所谓进行自主学习、自我管理的能力的要求，比平时要大得多。相比于传统的这种标准化考试来讲的话，我们对于学生的这些素质和能力的重视，因为这一次疫情而变得空前的大哈。那么这个表格呢，实际上是看得出来我们在整个 IB 学习里面所考虑的关于学生学习素质和能力的一个很重要的一个图解。就是叫 ATLS。
And really tonight, this presentation, we're going to be talking about the top right, where it says self-management, that goes into organization, affective skills, and reflective skills. It's on the next slide too. And like that's where like this is what we're going to be focusing on today. And this is an interesting quote from the Harvard Business Review that says that 93% of employers reported that a candidate's demonstrated capacity to think critically, communicate clearly, and solve complex problems is more important than his or her undergraduate major.
所以因为刚才疫情的事情，我们有一个更好的机会来反省所谓这个坚实的学习基础和学习技能知识这一块的需求，和实际上我们 IB 教育所崇尚的学生的学习素质和学习技能方面的要求之间还是有所区别的。那么这儿的这个引言呢就很典型哈，就这哈佛商业评论讲的，其实在用人单位来讲，大家对学习技能和素质的重视程度远远胜于他的学历。
Yeah, Danny, go ahead. This is just, again, this is one of those slides that we're not going to spend a lot of time on, but just to show you the amount, the kind of like the momentum behind this move. The standards that we use at the school for English, for example, are the Common Core state standards, and the Common Core is also working on developing connections between 21st century language skills. And then down at the bottom, you can see that even the World Economic Forum and the National Research Council, and number 8, the American Association of Colleges and Universities, all of these institutions are focusing on coming up with their own ideas of what 21st century skills are.
所以这场运动也罢，风潮也罢，其实现在是一个全球范围内的一个动向。大家所看到的这些非常权威的机构，包括这个第一个我们讲的 Common Core， 第8个的这个美国的这种大学和学院联盟，所有这些官方机构现在研究的动向，都是想要把自己所涉及的那个领域，怎么样能跟21世纪学习的这种技能能够关联起来。
Okay, Daniel? Can we go to the, yeah, thank you. And of course that makes sense that LinkedIn, which is it's in a website and a communication center for social media for employers and employees and professionals, they have come up with their own list of 21st century skills, and they even have links to websites that go over different ways to develop those skills amongst your employees and for potential employees to develop them among themselves.
所以这个领英网呢，作为整个职业圈里面一个非常重要的这个交际和信息平台，他们提出了自己的关于21世纪学习技能的一个标准，包括还有大量的信息资源在这些链接里面来指引所有的这种职场的人物怎么样界定下一步所需要的一些工作的技能。
Okay. And so, of course, it makes sense that this trickles down. Again, you see this is a different organization, but very similar skills. And if you look at the life career skills and the innovation skills and information media and technology skills, they're all wrapped around the core subjects. And it's not even just core subjects anymore, math, literature, history. It's connected to 21st century themes.
尤其我们从这个图里也看到哈，就是我们在这个学校教育的阶段里面，原来孤立的传统的这种单科的这种划分方式，现在也已经被通过各种技能整合到核心课程和21世纪的这种学习技能的培养的框架里面去。
And then, of course, you can see, Daniel, if we can go back for just one second, from that arch, this is what schools now have to do. It trickles down to the schools. schools make standards and assessments, they develop the curriculum, the teachers' professional development, and the learning environments are supposed to feed into these new needs.
所以上面的这个彩虹这个拱形上面所提到的内容，实际上在学校的阶段里就会下放到底下这几层，比如说标准、评估、课程教学的设计，这是我们学校为了应和前面所提出的这个宏大的一个主题，必须要做出的一些改变和设计。
Okay. And since I already mentioned that, again, we're going to be focusing on that top right, we can just move on. And so this is the broad picture. Yeah, thanks, Daniel. This is the broad picture of what the curriculum looks like at Daystar.
所以根据前面我们讲的这些理念和原理哈，实际上大家从这一张 PPT 上可以看到，这是我们整个中学的一个课程的一个概览。
And so you see the like the many links and the many kind of bullet points for the Chinese curriculum, followed by, because of it is a bilingual school and its mission is very closely related or connected to bilingualism, those little bullet points for the English curriculum. And then over to the left, equally important in this line, the MYP kind of contribution to this and how we teach approaches to learning, which is the ATLs. And then again, things like global context and key concepts, things that feed or learn from, or are taken from those themes that are in 21st century skills.
所以 Bill 给大家想介绍一下我们 MIP 这个课程的复杂性哈，大家可以看到最右边的所谓中文课程的一些标准我们都列出来了，那么中间的英文课程的标准也列出来了，但是不限于这些标准和将要执行的这个具体的教学的内容，还有这个关于21世纪学习素质，包括 MIP 所提倡的这个学习的这个进展或者学习的方式哈，学习素养ATL 这一部分，所以所有这些最前沿的概念，实际上最后都会落到启明星中学的整体的这种教学和课程框架里面来。
Hello. So now I'm just throwing out some things to kind of like scare you or impress you. Here is a very popular graphic for the ATLs. It was created by a PYP teacher, but I like to use it because it's colorful and it brings across how important and evocative all of these skills are. But this is over the MYP program across those 5 years. We are supposed to be training your students in all of these things to get them ready for the future in the 21st century.
所以 Bill 拿这个图出来不是想吓到大家哈，是实际上就是我们进行的教学活动背后的理论确实有这么复杂。比如说 PYP 的整个项目承接上来，在 MYP 里面反映出来的大家的这种技能哈，这有5大技能列在这个地方。实际上我们在 MYP 的项目这5年里面，就是要教育和帮助我们的孩子逐渐的有力的掌握这些5个方面的技能。
Okay, so now hopefully you understand where this comes from and how this has developed. Now I'm going to get back to what our main focus is, self-management. And what I would like to do is I would like all of the listeners out there to memorize this slide, and then I will be giving a short quiz in 5 minutes.
那么前面是给大家讲的，我们现在要做的这些事情是从哪些理论来的哈，给大家一个大的背景。那么接下来呢，可能要跟大家分享一下我们到底是怎么做的。请大家花一点时间，这个强文博记一下，把 Bill 给你的这个表格上的内容尽量的记下来，然后他一会儿会给大家出一个小小的题目。
Of course not, but this is our job. And so going from that slide, I'm sorry, Daniel, could you show me that slide? I just want to point out a couple of examples and I can't read this slide. The overarching question is, how can students demonstrate organization skills? And 2 examples that, of course, they've been doing before the remote learning, but now as well: plan short and long-term assignments, or the 5th one down, set goals that are challenging and realistic. This is what we mean when we're talking about specific skills that they have to develop as ATLs.
所以在整个我们的课程架构里，这个确实比较复杂哈。比如说我们谈到学生组织能力的体现，那么它是怎么样体现出来的呢？我们就画在这个高效的时间和任务管理这2个方面。比如说第一个，我们看到短期计划和长期计划能不能按时完成，还有底下的一些例子也都是集中起来反映了我们如何培养学生所谓的组织能力哈。
And with organization comes comes the affective skills, meaning how can students manage their own state of mind? This is thrown together with self-management, which I find very interesting, but also very, very accurate.
所以这个呢，其实又是另外一点，就是说学生们怎么样能够管理他们的所谓讲心理状态哈，不光是就是时间的管理或者学习任务的管理，也有心理状态的管理。那么从右边的这一栏里面，我们看到一些核心的词，比如说像专注、毅力这些，也是学生所谓自我管理、提高能动性的一个非常重要的领域。
And of course, you can see in recent times where, for example, under the remote learning that we've been doing, perseverance, resilience, all of these things are required. And if you think about it, all of you who work, all of you who go to work, all of you who own businesses, these are absolutely requirements that you have to possess and that you look for in employees, effective employees and successful employees.
所以各位家长，如果是这个在职场上打拼哈，或者在做高级的管理，那么你可能会非常希望您的雇员会具有这儿列出来的这些非常独到的一些性格方面的一些特点或者一些特质。那么其实这个也反映出来，我们在学校的教育应该反映这些需要。
And so what I'd like to show you is that now you see that there are graduation caps next to a number of these. These are all of the examples of the ATLs that your students have increased their practice of during this remote learning time. And this is what we're really trying to get across. I think a lot of parents and a lot of families around the world are worried about students missing content or missing learning during these periods. But what I would counter with that is that it's not that they're missing learning, they're doing different learning. They're doing the content, but they're also getting increasing practice in these ATLs that are all going to be required of them as they go through high school, the IB program, college, and on.
所以实事求是的讲，虽然我们现在的家长在这个阶段里非常的担心我们的孩子在线学习或者在家学习可能会错失一些学习的内容或者延缓他们的进度，但是从我们教育的角度来讲，他们并不是说缺失了一些学习，他们只是在进行不同的学习。如果按照这个表格来看，我们不要关注于学习内容和进度的话，学生实际上在这些所谓自我管理能力和这个学习素质与技能方面，他们进行着不同的实践，这也是其实这种学习的机会是在提高的。
Okay, and these are the affective skills. We were just talking about that. And again, down at the bottom, resilience, or even better, self-motivation, practicing managing positive thinking, practicing analyzing and attributing causes for failure, things like that. I mean, students have to have shown self-motivation during this period because other than their families who sometimes have to work and do their own things, they really have to take care of themselves and get themselves to do the work. So they're building a strong skill base in independence and autonomy.
所以为什么 Bill 前面那么讲呢？实际上就是说，学生在家学习的时候，我们对他的一些正面的情绪的管理、他们的专注度、他们的时间管理种种的要求，实际上是一个很好的训练。因为家里并不能够总是提供像在学校一样的这种管理的体系，那么对孩子这些要求、这些技能的要求其实是非常高的，他们也有大量实践的机会。
So when you're thinking about what your students have been learning during these periods, think about these two overarching questions. How can students demonstrate organization skills? Because we ask them about that and we ask them to do that every day. And how can students manage their own state of mind? We are constantly helping them with self-care and mental health and resilience during this very difficult period. These are the questions you can ask of yourself and ask your children. How are they developing these skills?
其实就像我们现在在线学习跟学生每天都关注的，作为老师的角度关注的这两方面的问题，家长也应该予以关注哈，就是到底学生怎么样能展现他们的组织能力，或者怎么样能管理自身的心理状态，家长也可以问学生这样的问题哈。那么这个家长问的这些问题，实际上在这个理念上跟我们学校跟学生每天做的事情是高度一致的。
Okay, so let's take a look at some examples. These are all examples from our remote learning period. And you could see that I've matched on a few of these pages, I've matched the ATL subcategories with that. So use appropriate strategies for organizing complex information. Select and use technology is going to be a very common one because we've been doing almost everything through technology, but not always. And I'll show you that too. This is a pad, I'm sorry, I'll stop there.
那么这个接下来呢，贝尔想跟大家分享一个例子哈，就这个在我们启明星的这种在线学习的过程中，实际上就跟前面讲的理论就结合起来了，包括一些21世纪学习素质的一些培养，他们就是更多的使用技术。那么后续的详细的内容还给大家做一个解释。
This is a Padlet. I'm sorry, can we just talk about that for 1 second? This is a Padlet used by Mr. Mark Espinoza, our science teacher, and he provides them with the Padlet, which is an organizational tool, an app. But you can see each student is then responsible for plotting out their visual presentations. So again, this is kind of like the whole idea behind self-management. The teacher or the parent or the leader provides the resources and the training, and then the students have to take care of their own organization and self-management.
所以 Padlet 是我们现在用的一个软件哈，尤其在科学等几个科目里面用的比较多。实际上，这个就是训练我们孩子自我管理一个非常好的平台。它的主要理念就是说，我们只是给学生提供一个系统，提供各种各样的资源，而最后谁能真正照顾和管理好自己的学习，管理好自己的整个进度，那是要靠学生的。所以，在线学习的这种一种模式，对于我们前述讲的各种素质和技能的提高，实际上一个是非常好的一个方式。
Okay, and on the next slide, we see an example of students organizing their own Zoom meeting. So managing time and tasks effectively, planning short and long-term assignments. You know, it's not only teachers who are doing Zoom, students are doing Zoom with each other. They're learning those skills from their teachers and then using those skills to create their own organization.
所以刚刚开始在线学习的时候，家长可能比较熟悉的，老师会在线上做 Zoom 在线的视频教学，召开会议，跟学生开展教育教学的活动。但是实际上呢，比这个走得更远，因为孩子们的自主学习能动性提高了以后呢，就像这个例子讲的，他们在自己设计自己的学习进度，长期和短期的计划，然后联系开会讨论这个学习的相关问题。
And this is great. Daniel and I were very impressed with this one because this shows how creative students can be. Very often, and I've learned so many things from students over the years in terms of new apps and new methods and ways to use apps. We, of course, would use calendar or our email service to remind us of meetings. But Kelly Hu, and you can see this here, what is she using more than email or a calendar? She's using WeChat all of the time. So she uses WeChat to provide reminders, which I didn't even know the function existed. But she finds the tool that's easiest for her and then uses it in the way that we would want her to use it.
所以在过去这1年里，作为我们这些做老师的人，实际上从中学生这个地方呢，学到了非常非常多的一些新的一些软件呐、app 呀，一些新的使用的方法呀。比如说这个开利学生呢，他自己觉得就是给自己学习提供一个提醒呢，实际上我们平时用的是什么？这个日历啊，或者是邮件提醒啊。他用这个微信就用得很好，结果对我们大家也是一个提醒啊，他觉得那个比较舒服有效，这也是对我们是一个很好的一个意见。
Okay, now this is an example of a student who received a digital assignment from his math teacher, Mr. Wen, and then Mr. Huang, and then decided to turn it in. I'm not sure if Wen assigned it this way or if the student wanted to do it this way. I think it's great when we give students the option. And so he did it on paper. And we all know there have been many studies that show writing notes on paper or by hand helps retention. So he chose to do this and then sent it back to the teacher for marks and grading.
所以这个呢是另外一份数学作业，王老师改的这个数字化的这个评语什么在上面哈。但是学生也可以选择他怎么样把这些东西记下来，是写在纸上吗？虚拟的吗？然后写在纸上再发回给老师吗？就是动用各种学习的手段来进行自我管理基础上有效的学习，这也是一个好的例子。
And just a confession, full disclosure, if you can go back to that, Daniel, just for a second. I have a history and politics background. I have no idea what any of that says, so I'm hoping it's legitimate. But all of you probably know better than I do.
我也没法翻译，你都觉得你搞不懂，我也觉得搞不懂，估计丹就可以搞得懂哈。OK。
And then I'm just going to ask you I've got 3 of these to show you, and I'm going to talk a little bit, but if you can just read along while we're on these slides. These are examples of reflections from Mr. Luke Jones' advisory students in 8th grade. And I just thought that they were almost profound in the way that they self-reflect. And if you remember, that was the third box. There was organization, and then there was the piece about managing their emotions and self-reliance and behavior. And then there was the ability to reflect on things. And here, like the kind of observations that the students make, I thought were very mature for their age. I mean, not a lot of 8th graders make these kinds of observations, but given the opportunity, our students do.
所以这个例子呢，是8年级一个学生对自己的一个反思的一个日记哈，大家可以联系到前面我讲的那些表格里面的关于自我情绪和心理的管理那一部分。那么作为一个8年级的学生，他可以就是比较超然或者中性的来观察自己的情绪的变化，进行反思。这个实际上对于他的年龄来讲是一个非常成熟的作业。
Okay. I thought this was another great one. There are a lot of comments in here, but I think her observation about it sometimes, close friends and how they can talk and receive feedback with each other. This is a strategy that is used among teachers because teachers are professionals that are very sensitive of their work, and they call that kind of relationship a critical friends relationship, where teachers who trust each other can be very critical of each other's work in a constructive way.
所以这是另外一个8年级学生的反思日志，也是做得非常的棒。他给我们老师一些提醒，就是说学生哈，就是好的朋友之间，可以称为我们作为叫批判性朋友哈，大家就是非常坦荡，能够彼此能够提出对对方的观点，这个实际上也是一种这个教育教学的一种策略，这对我们的老师其实也是比较有启发的。
Okay, we'll go with the last one. And I thought this was great, in terms of, I'm sorry, can we go back to the last observation? This one about humility, I thought was also great. It's good to see that a student saying, no one is perfect and it's okay to make mistakes. This shows a student who's willing to fail forward, fail, as the saying goes, it doesn't matter if you fall down, as long as you get back up again. A student who's resilient, a student who has, the ability to move on and face adversity. This shows that this student might be one of those people.
所以第3个这个例子也是8年级的学生做的哈，他谈到了这个谦卑、谦虚，他谈到的这些观点，实际上就跟我们前面讲的坚韧也罢、毅力也罢、谦虚也罢，这些美好的一些品质和品德，都会伴随他走到很远。
Okay. And then, of course, there is other kinds of organization and other important areas. This is another student here who, and in the top left, if you see Amazing Stories Beijing, that is probably a collection of photos or a video. It's an MP4, so video, that is meant for an assignment. And she's organizing all of her videos and images for assignments in this folder.
所以虽然学生们都每个人在拿自己的笔记本在用哈，那么其中的反映出来的自我管理的能力和意识也是非常典型的。比如说像这个图景里面，就是学生对自己所有的文件、视频、照片，他必须要有序、比较整洁的管理起来，而能够高效的使用。这实际上是我们鼓励学生来进行练习的。
But then, of course, as you move down and right across your screen, you can see that these are students who are also having having tough times these days and looking for outlets for humor, resilience, kind of like keeping themselves motivated and in a good state of mind with really crazy pictures of themselves.
所以学生对于自己的各种了解、观察也会反映在这种管理里边来哈。比如这些，就是说他比较有效的能够观察、体会到自己的情绪、心理活动，予以表达，甚至用我们前面所谓讲的一些核心的一些素质来对自己进行反思、提高。
And this is fine. And this is fine because this shows, this is what they were doing with many of those pictures. The students that I know have dozens of stickers based off of me. You can see one of them, gotcha, Mr. T, if I ever make a grammar mistake in a WeChat conversation with the student council, or really, Mr. T, really, you dare cross me if I ever disagree with one of them. This is how they respond.
所以作为青少年来讲哈，他们也有非常潮的这种网络时代的表达自己情绪的这些，比如说像这种表情包哈，他们自己做的，这些都是有场景的。在教学环节中，老师是比较熟悉学生在什么样的场景下，怎么样表达自己的这种反应的方式和情绪的这种表露哈，其实都是非常重要的一些教育环节的体现。
Dan, if I can say one more thing on this, the other one, the funny one, and this is good. I do want to emphasize this thing. One, that they have good senses of humor and they're surviving this period under the pandemic, but also they clearly have a comfortable relationship with me and other teachers at the school. So this is totally fine, and I will get them back. I will have revenge.
所以贝尔想再讲一下，就是这些学生，就你可以看到他非常有幽默感哈。他在这么困难的在家待着的时间，他有机会表达，怎么样来疏解自己的情绪。但是另外一方面也可以看到，这些学生和贝尔和他们的老师有非常轻松愉快的一个关系。这从教育上来讲，也是一个非常重大的一个点，我们需要予以充分的关注。
Okay. And so now what can you do? We're going to move on. You've seen examples. I've talked about the development of these skills. Let's talk about what you can do to help them. Now, first off, I mentioned focus on the skills they've adopted during this experience. Focus on the specific skills. If you can be specific to talking about the ATLs, and I do say you can use this presentation, and if anyone ever wants to talk to me, and if we need a translator, we'll get one. We can go over ATLs that you can focus on with your children at home.
所以这个我们说到怎么样能够帮助孩子利用这些机会的这个话题，实际上就像这个 PPT 上讲的，大家可以看一下，我们关注孩子解决问题的方法，而不是结果。所以 IB 里面所谓讲的 ATLS 这个也是同样的道理，学习的过程所掌握的技能、所培养的素质以及自我管理的相关的知识和技巧，这是伴随孩子走得更长远的东西。
And I'll give you some examples of questions you can ask in a second. But the overall message here with number one is focus on the skills. Don't ask general questions about their education. How are you doing? Great. Okay. That's a good way for students to avoid a specific conversation. So we'll talk about how to ask specific questions in just a second.
所以就像这一点我们讲到的，平时在家里问，尤其我们青少年的孩子，你要尽量避免问那些普普通通的大陆货的问题。你今儿怎么样？挺好，结束了。这实际上给孩子造成了很多的这个机会，从此就是跟你说的都是一些泛泛而谈的话题。我们尽量要问一些具体的问题，来促进我们的对话继续发展。
Okay, Danny. All right. So again, demonstrate curiosity. So be specific and demonstrate curiosity. Ask them specific, pointed and specific questions about their new skills. So just looking at a couple of examples you could use, things like, how do you organize your time throughout the week? Can you show me? Okay. Can you actually show me how you do this? For example, maybe Kelly, whose mom has no idea, she uses WeChat to set her appointments. That's great. You don't have to adopt it, but it's great if you show interest in it. So will these tools and techniques help me become more organized? If you show a general interest in that, first, they'll be motivated because you're interested. Second, if you say, wow, maybe I can use that at work, they'll see that it's not just a skill for school, it's a lifelong skill.
所以在家长提问的时候，除了前面讲要尽量问的具体同时呢，就是说要对孩子们的自立展示出好奇心。你问问题的时候，就是要有针对性而且呢要跟实际联系起来。比如说这个东西到底怎么用，你能不能告诉我？或者说你能不能展示给我？你能不能做出来给我看？这也是我们在学校跟学生打交道的时候经常使用的一些策略，能够把这个整个具体实践重现的这个方式往前推进。这个实际上是对学校的教育活动的一个很大的支持。
And then going down, you can see the other questions are very similar, but I'd like to point out number 3, this is a good opportunity to specifically focus on this period of time and demonstrate to your children and our students that even during this time, or this time is valuable learning time as well. So what difference about how you've been organizing your time now, as opposed to before we went online? Wow, that looks really useful for my work too. Showing them that this period is critical for their learning as well.
所以最后这一个问题呢，实际上贝尔也想专门的拿出来讲一下，就是问问题的时候，就是你比如说现在规划时间的方式和在线学习之前有什么不同？那么这个呢，就给学生提供一个反思的机会。然后呢，看来他对我们的工作也大有帮助。这个就是说，我们学生所学习的技能其实是超出学校之外的，让他看到了一个在实际生活中的用途。这对于提高学生学习的积极性，联系实际也是非常大的一个鼓励。
Okay, and then the last one is going to be difficult for some parents, of course. We all want to know what's going on with our students and our children, and we want to help them. But sometimes you just have to leave them alone. All right, go. Sorry, let that go.
那么最后这个问题可能对有些家长来讲相对不是那么容易哈，因为我们一方面呢都想就是全面的了解孩子，随时随地给他们帮助，但是在一个青少年的阶段，他们更多的可能需要自己的空间。
For example, and this is a technique that I've used for many years, I have a 4-stage process before students can ask me for help. The students in my classes know that if they come up to me, I'm going to ask them several questions, like, did you try different solutions? 1, did you troubleshoot this problem online? 2, did you contact your classmates? Does any one of them know? Or when I was, there's something implicit there. Was someone else in the class listening when you weren't? And you can ask them and find the answer. And then finally, you can contact your teacher. But you can say, you can ask them if they contacted their teacher.
哪位家长请看一下，把自己的这个声音静音一下哈，谢谢。那么刚才贝勒谈到这个例子呢，就是说他也经常用这种策略哈，就是要给孩子的独立学习留下一些空间。他班上的学生也都知道，如果有问题来用贝勒的话，贝勒经常会有好几个他。第一个，比如说有没有是不同的方法再试一下啊？有没有在线去检索内容啊？或者说是有没有跟你的同学去联系一下，或者说到最后再来找老师。那这些都是给学生提供了一些他自主学习、自我管理的一些实践的机会，而不是直接把答案给他。
And then 2 other techniques that you could potentially use is anytime your child walks up to you for help, just pause them a little bit and say, I'm sure that you can work that out. Try again, and then let me know if you need help. So go back one more time, try it, and then if you're still not being able to do it, if you're still not able to do it, I will help you.
所以其实我们跟孩子打交道的时候，当孩子来求助的时候，尤其青少年这个阶段，我们完全可以给孩子说，我觉得你可以把这个解决了，回去再想一下，再想一想不同的办法哈，然后你再回来找我帮助。
And the last one is we all know sometimes our students ask for help just because they don't want to look it up. And if you know that your child is being temporarily lazy or just doesn't feel like it that day, just look at them and say, make it happen, right? And if they say, but I need, make it happen. But I don't know, make it happen.
所以作为家长和老师一样，有时候对孩子比较了解哈，孩子也有这样的时间，比如他今天他确实比较懒哈，他想替你把这个事情办了，让你把这个事情办了，或者帮他解决，这些都是很 OK 的事情。
Okay, so those are the examples, and hopefully what we've done here is we've provided you, we're all worried about this pandemic. Personally, I feel that incredibly safe that in China, for example, that the country has collaboratively and as a community pulled together collectively to solve the problem of the COVID pandemic. But the silver lining is that perhaps that collaborative effort has enhanced our students' independent and autonomous skills, so we get the best of both worlds. Of course, the pandemic is the worst thing going on, and we primarily are concerned with your child's safety and their mental well-being, but they are going to develop skills that will be useful from this experience.
所以贝尔说的这一段话也不只是他个人的评价，实际上在教育界里，自从这次疫情发展以来呢，其实大家都有非常高涨的呼声和热望，认为虽然这一次疫情给我们带来了很多的麻烦，但是在于协作性学习、在线学习、自主学习方面的机会，对于教育业来讲，实际上是非常难得的一次。我们也大家看到了非常正面的一些成果，我们也希望跟家长们分享我们的心得和获得的这些感受信息。
Okay, and if Daniel, just leave that on that quote, and then I'm open to any questions either in the chat or if someone wants to ask me something or through Tim, feel free, please.
所以他结束是以这个 Daniel Pink 的这个名言来结束的哈。那么后面的这些时间呢，也欢迎大家能够提出你们想问的问题，也没有问题。
So I think the first question, Bill, I'll read it out, Tim, if you can translate it, and then we'll, there's two there, I can see two originally. So the first one is, we have 3 different curricular standards under our roof at Daystar. Those are the Chinese National Curriculum, the American Common Core, and technically MYP is the framework, actually the way that we teach it rather than the content, but yeah, it's definitely the same. Would the school consider a separate ATL class to really focus on some of those skills? Example, planning, task management, outlining, research, citations. Although the students might be getting ATL skills in bits across different subjects, it might be beneficial to have a once every other week ATL session to focus on those skills. Perhaps it could be project-based in a particular subject.
所以这位家长问的问题，实际上就是他认为我们学校有3个不同的这个课程与标准体系哈，就是一个帽子底下有不同的菜。当然说的是这个国家课程标准和美国的 Common Core。当然第3个我们讲 MIP 的话，它实际上不是一个课程，它只是一个学习框架哈，不是一个标准。那么他就在建议说，我们的 ATL 这一块呢，实际上是不是有必要拿出来给孩子们额外的时间进行集中的项目或者课时设计基础上的一些学习，这样的话有助于避免在各个学科里这种不均衡的这种着力。
Dan, you want to take first crack at that, or should I?
Yeah, I'll take a first crack at it, and then as the MYP coordinator, you can correct me, I guess, because I'm probably going to get it wrong. No, actually, it's a very good question, and it's a question that comes up in a lot of different schools. So if I could explain to you, the ATLs, they are extremely broad, actually. There's many of them. And so what the aim of them is that the students learn these concepts within a context so they can apply them within specific areas. So for instance, we do specifically teach citations, but we teach it specifically in English as a first point of call.
其实这个问题挺有意思哈，这个 Daniel 先讲，然后后面看 Bill 有什么要补充的，或者说纠偏的也都没有问题。其实这个问题在很多学校大家也都问过，作为 ATL 来讲的话，是一个非常广泛的一个概念，它也分好多个类目。比如说我们讲的学习中的一些概念性的东西，这是第一部分，我们需要明确的教给学生。
So there are some ATLs that are subject specific, and they are mostly covered within those subjects.
所以在 ATL 里面有一些比如说 citation 这一块还有一些尤其是基于一些学科知识和技能方面的，我们也要必须。
And your suggestion is excellent in terms of project-based learning. So what I'm most proud of at Daystar is that we have what we'll be calling in future projects for change. And so that's based on the personal project criteria in grade 10, but all grade levels, grade 10, 9, 8, 7, and 6. We currently call it Genius Time, but it's really projects for change that we're trying to do. And actually in that time, there are set areas during that time from grade 6 to grade 10 where we cover specific aspects of, for instance, time management, organizing of notes, collection of information. So that's the second area that we explicitly teach. We do actually explicitly teach ATLs in the project time. And the third area, we actually explicitly teach many of these things in the advisory class too.
所以 Daniel 谈到就是这个家长提的建议实际上非常好，尤其项目化学习也是我们学校非常看重的一块。在高中的时候，比如说10年级，它有个人项目的这个要求哈，但是实际上从6年级到9年级，我们也是在按项目化学习来设计相关的环节，比如说这个 Genius Time， 这个整个呢是从6年级设计到9年级、10年级上来，每个年级都会有不同的着重点，比如说时间管理、任务管理等等，都是为了落实这个我们所讲的 ATL 的方方面面，能够把它架构成一个体系化的教学框架来在逐年的落实。
And I would have said something very similar to what Daniel said. And I'll just add this. In order to check on this in compliance with this, when the IB visits schools, this is what they're looking for. They're not just looking for a separate ATL class. They're looking for a place where ATLs are pushed into projects like the personal project, or in the TOK essay or the CAS project, or the big core things that happen in the DP. But they're also looking for it to be embedded across the curriculum. They want to see it in multiple classes in multiple ways. And so having this mix of it being addressed in several areas is probably the most common and the best way forward.
所以贝尔想补充的，实际上跟 Daniel 校长说的也比较相似哈。作为 ATL 在学校的落实情况来讲的话，如果 IB 来进行核查的时候，它并不是看你究竟是哪一门课上这个了，实际上更多的是看在各个学段、各个领域是怎样落实 ATL 这些策略和技能的。比如说，在这个MIP 高年段的这个个人项目，比如在 DP 阶段的 TOK 课程，就知识理论课程，还有 CAS 项目。是怎么样在 DP 阶段落成的？那么后面呢，还有就是我们跨学科的一些设计，怎么样展示出了落实 ATL 学习内容的和任务的一些设计。那么不同领域里面，如果能找到证据，我们在方方面面在充分的落实 ATL， 那就算我们的 IB 做得好，而不一定非得是具体的一些学科教学。
I know we're a bit pressed for time, but I do want to just add one last thing before I move on that question, because it's a really good question, and it really addresses a lot of areas in our presentation.
所以我们 sorry, could you repeat again? I just got it down.
Oh, sorry, I'll just say my answer first. The last thing I'll say is this: is that to make sure that we're not doing it randomly. So Bill and I have a map that we use internally to make sure that not every single teacher is teaching just these narrow ATLs that they think are important, that we actually plan for them to be spread out evenly and appropriately across different subjects, across different grade levels.
所以 Daniel 想跟大家讲的是，作为 ATL 的落实情况，我们并没有说是这个随机的由各个老师去掌握，因为它是一门课，必须要形成一个课程图，有一个每年的一个年度计划和最终的考评。那么 Daniel 和 Bill 呢，自己有一个这样的一个课程的架构图，能够落实到每个老师能够比较平均和有计划的落实 ATL 教学的目标，而不是每个人各行其事。
The second question was about grade 5 to 6 transition. I can take this one, Bill.
下一个问题是讲的5年级到6年级的过渡阶段的问题。哎，对，是 Elizabeth 问的。
So basically, how can we ensure grade 5 to 6 in ATL skills development, especially as much work transitions to be computer-based submissions, teacher notes, e-textbooks, and so on?
所以5年级到6年级的整个这个 ATL 的落实情况，其实也是有一些方法来进行考察的。比如说像老师的笔记啊，一些作业啊，一些这个电子教材等等，是基于这些来做的。
So actually, that's a very good question, and it's more to do with transition in general. And so what Bill and I and the grade 5 and 6 transition team that I set up this year are working on is actually staggering particular tasks that the students in grade 5 are given very specific instruction and time to practice before we just unleash a laptop and the whole secondary school on them.
所以进到6年级以后，学生可能就是自己用电脑学习的机会就会比较多。那么在我们能够让他们独立自主的使用这些设备之前，在5年级我们也提出了一系列非常明确的一些练习和培养习惯的内容，为进入中学学习做好准备。
So specifically, we'll carve out time in the digital design classes to go over computer literacy for the first week or two, advisory class in terms of before the main curriculum starts, we'll have a couple of days with the grade 5 to 6 students or any real students new to the school, get given help with routines, how to take notes, which is always a skill that we develop later on as well. It's always refining. Where to access information online, how they submit it, and then we'll do like a review of that within the first couple of weeks, and then we'll check in with the students during advisory throughout the year. So it's front and center of our mind to make sure that that transition from 5 to 6 is as smooth as possible in as many areas as we can.
所以5年级到6年级的这个过渡呢，实际上也是一个系统化的设计，它跟 Bill 也在一直这个尽量的落实这些啊，让它具体化。比如说就是培养学生使用这个我们讲信息素养哈，使用计算机的相关规则和应有的一些态度、方法、策略。然后呢，也帮助孩子在对于学习整个中学学习的学习习惯能够有一个比较好的一个培养下来，包括怎么样做笔记，怎么样交作业。这些事情呢，都是从整个中学学段的这个学习需要出发，从5年级开始给学生进行设计和落实。
Next question is from Jason. So nice to see you, Jason, from grade 5 with Ryan.
Dan, do you mind if I take this one because I want to add
Yeah, that's right.
add a thought.
Yeah, you go on. Let me read it out. Well, do you want to read it out,
Great.
and then Tim will translate the question.
Sure. Parents ideally would love to have their kids acquire different skill sets, such as self-management, self-motivation, etc. Typically, throwing them into the deep end of the pool might work or not. But how do we monitor or understand on a regular basis what type of approach works? How do we ensure accountability?
这个问题问的也很尖锐哈，就是说，当然父母这个理想化的状态就是让孩子们都能够有这个自我管理的各种的技能，或者有自我的这种推进的这种激情哈，但是典型的把他们直接扔到游泳池里，他们能不能学会游泳？有可能可以，也有可能不可以哈。那么我们怎么样能够这个这叫跟踪和理解，就是在日常的这种行为中，怎么样来开展他们的工作？我们怎么样能够保证这个事情的这个明确性哈？
Okay. And I wanted to answer this one first, maybe because I also had a final thought after we answered the first question, and I wanted to connect that to this. And one of the things that I would say is it's important for students to develop these MYP skills before they go to DP, because students in the IB program become more and more independent. It's important they become more and more independent as they go through the program.
所以我回答这个问题的时候，也联系到我其实对第一个问题回答的时候，我是有一点点想说的事情。那么这两个问题是可以连起来讲的。实际上，我们在 MYP 的这5年里，学生所需要掌握的这些技能，对于他们进入 DP 来讲也是非常重要的。
And so when you bring up throwing them into the deep end of the pool might or might not work, I have seen schools where the students don't go through the MYP and they go through another program and they don't develop or focus on ATL skills, then they end up in the DP program, and that's the deep end of the pool. And students who go through the MYP and develop ATLs are much more successful than those who do not.
所以这个例子呢，刚才提的所谓把这个孩子扔到这个深水区里面去，自己生存或者毁灭哈，实际上如果我们在 MYP 不进行这方面的培养，训练的话，那 DP 才是真正他们的深水池子，那肯定会一把会扔下去。
But this is my experience, and this is what I take from it. Teaching and parenting are similar in that they are both science and art. And this is often, in terms of accountability, this is more of where the art part comes in.
所以 Bill 的理解就是教学和我们做父母其实都是非常相似的事情，它既是一个科学，它也是一个艺术。
Each student is different. Each child is different. You have to monitor them in different ways. You have to learn, does my student like to be involved with me? Does my student like to talk all the time? Or does this student like to be left alone? Does this student provide evidence in written work or oral work or whatever, or in many different ways? Every student is slightly different in terms of how they manifest evidence of their ATL skills.
所以作为 Bill 的理解来讲，他从一个老师的视点来看我们的学生，每个学生都是不一样的，他们的各自的学习的特点，他们的优点，他们的缺点，他们需要提升的方向，这些事情就是既有科学性的一面，也有艺术性的一面，需要每个人都被单独的对待，单独的考量，采用单独的方式来看他们在 ATL approach 这方面的这个进展应该是怎么样的。
So the final thing I'll say, Daniel, is just so get to know, like talk to your student, open up lines of communication with your child, find out, will they let you look at their notebook? Will they show their work to you? Do they demonstrate it not directly by showing you their work, but in the habits that they develop, and then it influences the rest of their life? take a look, because every child is different in that regard, and they will show you in different ways.
所以这个事情非常重要，就我们家长也罢，老师也罢，应该跟学生开展一个友善而有效的沟通。学生做了作业能不能给你看？做完了一些作品能不能给你展示？而不只是给你展示出最后的结果。他中间所培养的习惯，他的思考的过程，他的整个工作的这个思路的发展，这些东西对于我们来讲都是非常重要的。
And then I'll just add a final one sentence to that, and it's I'm just making sure we've got time to answer the last question. We'll answer is for the one that's written by Leo. I don't actually know the second question, but Leo, Mr. Leo. And then just to add on to what Bill said about the ATLs, what we want to do is make sure that students have two things and children have two things. First is that when they do try something, that they have a safe environment if they're not successful. So it's not going to be the end of the world, or they're not putting any safety or danger by not being successful.
这个家长问的这个问题哈，实际上丹尼的回答让我想到上一周的时候，小学在做同样 agency 这个讲座的时候，有一个非常类似的观点，就是说学生的冒险，学生的工作必须在一个安全的环境里进行。当他尝试了而不成功的时候，他应该是安全的。那么我想这个态度对于回答这个问题也是一个借鉴哈。
And so to summarize it, you basically don't want to make it too safe either. So you don't want to have no risk. So what we call that is, instead of designing fail-safe experiments, so that you put them in a situation that they can't do anything wrong, we want them to actually do is have safe to fail experiments.
所以反过来讲，我们也不想给孩子一个过分安全的环境，因为过分安全的环境，他连犯错的机会都没有，那么何谈学习和进步哈？所以这两个点就是说，在安全前提下的勇于冒险、勇于犯错，这才是我们完整的理解这一个概念的一个思路哈。
那个翻译特别特别好，就是不容易翻译的，真的。
因为我们做父母也明白这个呀。
The last question I'll just quickly answer. Really, it's about how much correction and support, or real reaction to students' homework.
所以最后一个也是想说一下关于学生的家庭作业方面，我们究竟是以什么样的方式配合和回应才是比较好的。
And so I think the best way to answer that is about reflection, and that's a good thing to finish off on this note, because really the key thing for improvement that students gain by these ATLs, as you can see by those journals, is reflection. And students are able to reflect best when they have feedback.
所以我在这里要提出的就是，对于整个 ATL 学习过程中孩子的反思的那一部分是非常重要的。
And so I don't think it's a bad thing to ask students to review and redo homework to improve, because that's actually the most effective way that they can make progress and cement learning.
当然，写作业的时候，孩子写的不对，需要修订，然后一直修订到非常完善，这个也是一个很有效的一个提升的一个方法。
But I guess it's the way that conversation takes place really determines whether the student seeks it as a learning opportunity or as a punishment. So that's something that you can experiment with your child in terms of what works, what tends to infuriate them, and when do you need to take a step back and give them some space.
但是问题是，如果你要求这个孩子一直按照这种方式来做到尽善尽美的时候，孩子是把这个尽善尽美的过程理解为学习的过程，还是理解为家长给他的惩罚？所以这两点之间，家长应该取一个平衡点哈，既要鼓励他有一个精益求精的一个精神，但是又把学习作为一个有过程、有乐趣的一个整个的一个经验体会。那么这个需要我们家长够聪明，把握其中的一个平衡点。
And so with that, I must say thank you very much for the translation from Principal Lan. Thank you very much for the presentation from Mr. Tolley. And I will hand over to Jia for the final words.
Sure.
好的，那今天先讲到这里，我们返回给家啊。
I just sit here and take it all in. And, thank you so much to Bill and to Daniel and of course Principal Lon, to Tim for an amazing hour and 15 minutes. As usual, I, as a parent and as a colleague, I'm always so impressed and really touched at all this effort that's being done. And hopefully it was something that was also very helpful for our parents as well.
所以这样显得很受用哈。今天晚上take away 的东西很多，也代表家长向大家的工作表示感谢。
And of course, we do all of this, but the best thing is that you, our parents, are able to join us and take the time out of your really busy schedule to be with us. We miss you. This is our way of staying connected to you. So I hope that that's helping you a little bit by doing these kind of presentations. So we hope that that's really helpful for you because we really miss you. We miss your kids. We miss you. We miss seeing you on campus. And this is how we're trying to stay connected. So we hope it helps.
所以大家都很忙哈，抽时间能来进行这么一个学习和分享的，我们非常高兴。尤其家远在泰国，非常强烈的表达了他非常想念大家的这种情绪，跟我们一样哈。还是大家在这个校园里能够面对面的聊天，是我们梦寐以求的一个事情。谢谢大家今天晚上过来。
Yes, 非常感谢. And we're going to share this. I know there was a lot of details on the PPT itself, so we will actually be sharing this PPT as a PDF to all of our parents over the next day or so. So you will get a copy of this presentation.
OK, Bill 今天的这个 PPT 的内容是非常非常丰富哈，我们也都觉得很惊讶，也非常感谢。那么后续会拿 PDF 的文件的形式跟大家分享。
And the very last thing I'll say before we close it, the last question was, how can we find out more about the Genius in Project Time? And that's a really good point for us to finish off. So we're working on a number of these parent education presentations, and that is one of the key ones that we want to address. So keep your eyes peeled. We'll have another coffee talk, and hopefully it'll be about projects in Genius Time. So we'll do that soon.
快快的把最后一个问题给大家谈一下，关于家长问想知道天才项目的更多的信息。那么正好我们后续还有机会做这种早茶会或者这个咖啡讲座哈。那么在那个阶段，我们校长会跟大家进一步的分享相关的信息。
Okay.
Bye bye.
Wait. Don't say bye. I'm going to unmute to everybody. We have to hear them too. Ready? Are we ready? 3, 2, 1. I'm unmuting. Okay.
Bye bye. Bye.
Bye.
Lillian. Hey.
Thank you.
See you. Have a good night. 谢谢大家. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you so much.
看见了吗？当然它这个没有领头啊，这个不是这么领头的，但是领头。
Sounds like somebody's computer is underwater.